Can the law of attraction help you manifest anything you want without taking any action? Today, let's discuss just this. Stay with me. Welcome back to Choosing Gratitude. I'm Karen from ChoosingGratitude.net, and this channel is all about helping you manifest your dream life. If you're new here, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell and start to manifest your dream life by choosing gratitude. Almost every day I get questions like, Karen, I want to manifest a lot of money without taking any action. Karen, I want to manifest this and that, but I don't want to work for it. And the same time, there's another group of people who say, law of attraction is a hoax. You can't just sit around and wait for the money fall from the sky. Today, I'm going to share with you what my spiritual guides told me about how the law of attraction works, how you actually manifest, and how is action and inaction related to the law of attraction process. My spiritual guides have been telling me that to study how the universe works, you can actually find a lot of smaller cases and you just study how the smaller things work, and that will help you understand how the big picture really looks like. And I was told to look at how each individual life was manifested. And this is really fascinating, right? When you think about every single life form that is in this world today, if you look at how each individual human life is created, there was an action that has to happen, right? That's the action that your father and your mother did in order to create you, right? Of course, there are exceptions to this, right? There's the story of Immaculate Conception. However, if you look at the vast majority of the lives on this planet, we are all created because some action was taken, right? However, I also want you to think from another angle. How many people are trying to manifest a baby and they keep performing this action, but nothing happens to them and they get frustrated? So the action itself may or may not lead to manifestation, right? So that's where the magic happens, according to my spiritual guides. So you can look at it almost like this. There is a little ladder to the divine magic. And in a way, you have to go from where you are. You have to climb the ladder. That ladder is the action that I call it minimum required action. You have to take some action to get there where you can meet the divine magic. But the ladder doesn't take you there. Remember, the ladder alone is not enough. Just your limited action is not going to be enough to manifest the result. However, that action is required. That's why it's a minimum required action. Think about it. If you want to win the lottery, don't you have to go out and buy a lottery ticket? However, just buying that ticket doesn't mean that you're going to manifest winning the lottery, right? So it's exactly the same with everything. So first of all, if you want to manifest anything, my spiritual guide is suggesting me to look at what exactly is the minimum required action at this moment. We don't always know what is the minimum required action for the result that we want to create, but anything that moves you into that direction is actually good. And I also want you to think in terms of how can you take a specific action that takes you more into the feeling of joy? That action may or may not have direct correlation with the result you're looking for, but that minimum required action sort of have to happen. That's just the beauty of living in this 3D world, okay? So that's why personally, I don't believe that you can just sit around and sit in meditation and money will just fall from the sky. However, I want you to think that you want to take a joyful action to go up there and meet with the divine magic. And that action doesn't have to be painful. You know why so many people say that you want to manifest money without having to work for it? Because you think that working for money is very painful, right? And that's how our world makes it look like. However, I want you to think that there are many, many actions that you can take that you enjoy, that you love. Just like when your parents created you, that process has to be a joyful process, and that's when the magic happens. That's when you were conceived, right? Anything you want to manifest is like conceiving a brand new life form. You have to take some kind of action to move towards it, but that action doesn't really need to be painful. Think about it. If you try really hard to try to have a baby, a lot of times you can't, simply because you're putting too much desperate energy into the process. So every time you want to manifest something, I want you to think that some action is required, but how do you perform the action is even more important than the action itself. So in this aspect, I've learned so much from a master in this area. His name is Tony Robbins. I have been to his events and I have read all of his books. I've listened to all of his tapes back in the days, and I'm learning so much from him. Even though he is not specifically a law of attraction teacher, I find that his teaching is actually so much more in alignment with law of attraction, even though he always says you have to take massive action. Here, think about it. How can you even take massive action if you don't enjoy it? Let's say if a specific action brings you nothing but pain, but desperation, you're just not going to be able to continue to do it. Only when an action feels right, when you're in the zone. And that's what Tony Robbins calls it, bringing yourself into the right state. And he's all about, taking yourself into the right state. And if you translate that language into the law of attraction terms, that simply means that you need to be in the feeling place of that. I remember Tony Robbins used to coach this baseball player. He used to do really well, but suddenly his performance just lagged. He couldn't get himself back to his old performance. And then he went to Tony, and Tony coached him to change his body, change the way he carried himself, and put a silly smile on his face, and put him in the zone where he was performing the magic. And in that zone, all he needed was just that one hit, and he was back to his old self. Now he is back to be this amazing baseball player. So I want you to really ponder that. You really don't need to worry too much about how much action is needed, is action really required. What you really should focus on is the feeling you are having when you are doing the action. And when the feeling is right, the action is actually joyful. Life is full of actions. Imagine if you just sit in your house all day long doing nothing. You're probably gonna die after a year of just doing nothing because you'll be bored to death, okay? But imagine if you move around, you're full of energy, you're full of life, and you want to add value to the world. You want to create something. And all of that takes action, and behind those actions, those inspired actions, is the energy, the life force. So that's what I've learned from Tony Robbins, the master of personal development, and I have really benefited from it. So I really want you to get this. I think that if you feel lethargic, you feel like you're not where you are in life, maybe you should even get up and take a little bit more action. Maybe instead of trying to sit around and meditate, try Tony Robbins' approach. Try to get yourself up and speak your affirmations out loud, like the way Tony teaches you. He calls it incantation. So instead of saying, I am rich, I have money, say, I am a wealth generator, I am a wealth genius, and speak it out loud to the universe. Get all the energy behind your action, and you just do this day in and day out, and before you know it, you are already experiencing your dream life. I have actually put together a very simple loop of Tony Robbins' wealth generating incantation. It's Tony Robbins himself speaking the incantation of generating wealth. And I'm going to put a link down below so you can go there and grab it. It's basically like a 30 minutes of just one Tony Robbins incantations, and it's full of energy and full of passion, the Tony Robbins way. And I just put it on and, listen to it when I'm doing things or listen to it when I'm going for a walk. And that fills me with passion, with drive, with energy. I always listen to this in the morning. I'm gonna give this to you. Just go to the link down below and download it. And also, Tony Robbins and his friend Dean Graziosi is actually doing a free training next week about how they manifest money, how they generate money. And I really want to see you at that training. I will be there. It's completely free. I heard it's like 2 to 3 hours. They did one last year and I was there, and I think this is really, really valuable. And since it is free, I want to invite all of you there. Just be there at this free online training with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi, and they will blow your mind. So when you grab your Tony Robbins incantation from me, I will also share with you how to register for their free training for next week. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I will see you in the next video.